The stranger in my photos. I went to a concert with some friends, and we took a ton of selfies, group shots, the usual stuff.
At
the time, it all seemed normal, just bright lights, sweaty crowds, laughter, music. But the next morning when I scrolled through my phone, I noticed something chilling. In every single photo, no matter where we were standing, no matter which angle we took it from, there was the same tall man in the background. At first I thought it was a coincidence, just someone who happened to follow the crowd. But then I looked closer. He wasn't dancing. He wasn't smiling. He wasn't even moving. In every single picture, he's just staring directly at me, his expression blank, like he knew exactly where the camera would be. I asked my friends if they remembered seeing him, and not one of them did. I even posted one picture online to ask if anyone recognized him, but before I could refresh the page, the photo disappeared from my gallery completely, as if it had been deleted remotely. Next, to the basement door. When I bought my house, the real estate agent never mentioned anything about a basement, but right in the kitchen there was this small wooden door that led to a narrow stairwell. I assumed it was a storage space and didn't pay much attention until I realized the door would never stay shut. I locked it, I bolted it, I even nailed planks across it, but every morning I'd come downstairs to find the boards ripped off, the lock broken, and the door slightly open. When I peered down, all I could see was pitch black, and the air smelled damp, earthy, and faintly rotten, like wet soil and
decay.
The weirdest part? According to the property records, my house doesn't have a basement at all. There's no record of one ever being built. A contractor friend even came by, tapped on the walls, and swore there shouldn't be any space under the house. But every night, without fail, I hear faint creaking from those steps, like something or someone is climbing upward. Next, 3 AITA for not paying for dinner? I went out to dinner with a group of friends who love fancy restaurants, and while they ordered cocktails, appetizers, desserts, and the most expensive entrees on the menu, I stuck with something simple, a pasta dish and water, because money is tight for me right now.
The bill
comes and everyone immediately says, let's just split it evenly. That would have meant me paying almost 3 times the cost of what I actually ate. I spoke up and said I'd rather just pay for my portion, and instantly the mood changed. One friend rolled her eyes, another called me cheap, and suddenly I was the villain for not wanting to subsidize their expensive habits. I left cash for exactly what I owed and walked out, but now they've been blowing up our group chat, saying I embarrassed them in front of the waiter, made things awkward, and ruined the vibe.
I
don't get it. Why should I pay for their lobster and champagne when I literally only ate pasta? Next, for the phone call. One night, right before midnight, my phone rang. I glanced at the caller ID and froze. It was my own number calling me. I answered, half expecting it to be some scam or spoof, but instead of a voice, I heard heavy static, like someone breathing through a bad radio. Then, clear as day, I heard my own voice say, "Don't go outside tomorrow." My blood went cold. Before I could respond, the line went dead. I barely slept that night, debating whether it was a prank, a hack, or something else entirely. The next morning, I felt too shaken to follow my routine, so I called in
sick and stayed home.
Around 8:30 a.m., the exact time I'd normally be on the highway, I turned on the news and saw a massive report, a multi-car pileup on the very road I always take to
work.
Dozens injured, several fatalities. My stomach dropped. I don't know who called me that night or how I heard my own voice, but staying home may have saved my life. Next, 5 The man in the hallway. Back in college, I lived in this old dormitory building that creaked and groaned at night. The halls were long, narrow, and dimly lit, and sometimes when I walked back to my room late at night, I'd see a tall man standing at the far end of the hallway. He never moved, never spoke, just stood there. At first I thought it was another student pulling a prank, but every time I tried to get closer, The lights would flicker and he'd vanish. For weeks I brushed it off as my imagination, until one night I decided to test it. I walked slowly, step by step, heart pounding, until I was finally close enough to see his face. And it was mine. Not exactly, but older, thinner, with tired eyes and a look of deep exhaustion. He stared at me without saying a word, and then the lights cut out. When they came back, he was gone. For the rest of the semester, I kept dreaming about that hallway, about walking toward myself over and over, and sometimes I'd wake up standing in the hallway without remembering how I got there.